Alrighty, y'all. What's going on? Welcome back to the Sit Down Sports Edition. Here with my man Andrew, per usual. And here we go. We're going to kind of go over week 5. Yep. What were some of our takeaways? And Andrew, run through some of your biggest takeaways from the week. We kind of talked about off camera, but you were saying some good stuff.
Some big takeaways. As I'm looking at these games, Bears are better than we thought they were. Rams are better than they played against the Giants. They're not that sorry. They had a bad week.
Yep.
The Texans are better off without Bill O'Brien.
I would agree.
What else?
Dallas is not going to miss.
Dallas is not going to miss
Dak Prescott as much as they think.
Yes, Dallas. I don't think Dallas will miss Dak Prescott as much as they think they will. Very sad injury to see. Got me choked up too.
Yeah, it's tough.
Watching that happen.
It's tough.
But when you got a guy like Andy Dalton behind you and your offense is already as good as it is,
The Red Rocket.
the offense ain't the problem on that team.
No, it's not.
They're gonna have some issues. They're gonna be okay. Jets are still sorry, and the Saints ain't that good either.
No,
even though they got a W.
The Saints are not that good.
No.
But let's dive in. Let's start Thursday.
Yeah, so let's start with Bucs Bears. Bears snuck one out.
By the skin of their teeth, and you want to know what it was? I think the Bears did exactly what they needed to do.
Yep.
And like you had said last week, that Bears front seven got home a lot.
This team is gonna have to win with their defense.
Yep.
And offensively, it was an ugly game.
Yeah, did you see that play with Khalil Mack when he sacked Tom Brady?
And Tom Brady looks at him and he's like,
no, and they took Isaiah Wynn with one arm and just threw him over his shoulder like a rag doll after the play was over. Ridiculous. That dude is a freak of nature. It was so stupid. And I think, kind of we'll go back to the offenses. I think for the Buccaneers, they
still don't know who they are.
No, they have no idea what they're trying to do yet. And, Tom Brady he's making me a bit suspect.
Sure.
That's my guy. I ride and die with Tom Brady. That's my dude. But it's, not knowing it was 4th down.
Right, and he could say all day he knew.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the tape shows otherwise. And, why would you try to do a seam route down the middle in triple coverage on a 4th down play? That's like that's like the least safe play you can make to try to get like 15 yards on a 4th down.
And I think the biggest thing with the Bucs, and we've talked about it since week 1, I feel like they're trying to do too much.
Yep.
And I think the reason Tom Brady had maybe a mental lapse in thinking about downs and distance and stuff like that is this is the first time in his career since he's been in Michigan going to the Patriots that he's had a new system.
Yep.
First time ever. Every other coach after he got in the league made the system for him.
Yes.
Bruce Arians ain't doing that. So and I'm not saying he should make a system for Tom Brady, but at least make a simpler one so that your QB doesn't have to think so hard. We know Tom Brady's a genius, but also when you're used to something for 20 years, you can't just switch on a dime. That's not how that works.
Right, or, to go along with that even further, or maybe make a system that works better with the talent you have around you. Because similar to even when Jameis Winston was there, the offensive line isn't good enough to hold for a 7-step drop to have a play develop for a 20-yard, 30-yard, 40-yard bomb every other play like Bruce Arians likes to do. So my question is are you going to adapt? Or are you going to let the season go to shit?
I think adapting at this point to me, and I think this plan works 9 times out of 10. Run the ball more.
Yeah.
Ronald Jones is running the ball well.
Very much.
Just
so.
run it more.
Yep.
And if you give him the ball more, your offensive line is set up for some play actions. You get that offensive line some help because then they're rushing in a different way. They get to push him out and all that kind of stuff. And then you open up the lanes for Tom Brady. Tom Brady's not the quarterback who can throw 50 times a game anymore.
Yep.
You gotta run the ball. Ronald Jones is no joke. He's a good back.
Absolutely.
And you gotta utilize it.
And that's the thing too. Every offensive line likes to go forward. It's a lot easier to go forward than it is to go backwards. When you have your offensive line going backwards, 80% of the snaps, they're not going to be as effective as if, it's a 50-50 split. And like you had said, Andrew, it does take patience. It takes patience to set up the run game. And you have to be willing to sacrifice some drives. But when that 4th quarter comes around, when you really need it, the defense is going to be tired, and then you're going to experience some things.
Right.
And clearly they didn't want to do that.
A drive that goes 3 and out with 3 runs is better than a drive that goes 3 and out with 3 incompletions.
Absolutely right.
And that'll slow down Khalil Mack too, because he'll be thinking more, oh, they're gonna run. He can't just tee off anymore.
Right, and that was the thing you saw towards the end of the game. He was getting stupid jumps on that ball. He was getting there.
Usually, pass rushers slow down later in the game because
and that's the whole thing.
More things are in the head. But
right.
He was going later.
When you don't have the threat of rush attack, you just pin your ears back and you just go get him, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Not much to say about this next game. Rams football team. The Rams are not who they are when they played the Giants last week.
Nope.
That was disgusting.
Yeah, that was awful.
That's not them.
No. And you were kind of down on them.
I was down on them a little bit. I feel like when you have a week like that, like it could kind of lull on you. But I mean, very clearly, Sean McVay got to his team and said, "Yo, we can't play like that anymore.
Yep.
That's not acceptable. I don't care if you got the win. Doesn't matter. Can't play like that."
Yeah.
And some indecision at quarterback for the football team. Kyle Allen went in, got a concussion towards the end of the second quarter.
He got blasted.
He got rocked. Alex Smith comes into the game. Love seeing that.
I was so scared. His wife was not happy. She was shitting herself. She was so scared. Everybody's like, "Oh, she's so excited." No, she was freaking out.
Yeah, and I mean,
she did not want to see him in that game. In the second play, he gets ragdolled by Aaron Jones up the middle. It's like, wow. Aaron Donald, sorry. Yeah.
And it was clear that Alex Smith wasn't ready to play.
No.
And I don't blame him.
He did get better as the game progressed, though. Started to get more comfortable, got his legs under him a little bit.
That's what he has to look for. If he's consistently trashed the whole game, then it's like, all right, well, maybe this guy needs to get some mental
the dude hasn't played in like 2 years.
And he hasn't even taken a hit.
He was about to lose his leg, right. So just to be out there.
I don't blame him at all. Mm-hmm. It was a Ron Rivera decision to keep Alex Smith in the game.
It was.
He
was clear.
Protocol. So we'll see what happens going into the next week. But Rams played the way they should. They played pretty lights out. Yep. Defense played well. Offense played well. They hit a really nice deep ball to Robert Woods on the left side of the field. That was very nice.
Money. Washington, that defense did nothing.
No, it didn't.
Nothing. And also, I will say this. The Rams defense did a lot.
Yeah, they did.
The Rams defense was feasting. How many sacks did they have? Like 7 sacks? 8 sacks?
8 sacks.
Ridiculous.
Aaron Donald had 4 on his own.
Stupid.
Yeah.
That's so dumb.
Defensive player of the week for sure.
Yeah.
Let's hop over to the Eagles-Steelers. This game was a lot closer than a lot of people thought it would be.
Claiborne. My God.
Claiborne had 4 touchdowns.
Ridiculous. Rookie.
Just put in a waiver claim for him for my fantasy team, so we'll see.
Good idea. You should.
But yeah, the Steelers' offense was humming.
Snacked them.
Ben Roethlisberger was upset after missing the game last week. Felt like his team was going to lose momentum. That offense did not lose momentum at all. That defense might have, though.
Yes.
Giving up 29 points to a team like the Eagles is a little frustrating, especially when Miles Sanders had the game that he did.
Exactly, and especially on bad plays too. Like you said, Miles Sanders running a 70-yard run. It was like a 3 gap. It was like a C gap run that went 80 yards to the house.
And that's just miscommunication.
Right. Exactly.
And for a defense like the Steelers that is priding themselves on that defense. Mm-hmm. You can't give up.
Look, we always talk about that front 7 stopping the run. Stopping the run and getting to the passer. They weren't able to stop the run. But I will say this: even though the score was 38-29, that score is deceiving because it never felt like the Eagles.
It didn't feel close.
Never.
In the middle of the game, it was very like, all right, and then the Eagles started to come back a little bit, and then it just kind of got away from them a little bit.
Because the thing I like with the Steelers is that every time the Eagles did something, they answered with something bigger. They always kept the momentum in their favor. Yeah. They never let the Eagles get some wind. They always kept the sails down. Mm-hmm. They always kept them on the ground. They always kept them down. And Claiborne, his name is Mapletron. you know why?
No.
Because he's Canadian. That's the nickname he had at Notre Dame.
Mapletron.
He was on the Pat McAfee show and he was talking about it. And he was like, yeah, my nickname is actually Mapletron. I just didn't want to say anything because I'm a rookie. And I was like, good idea. But yeah, Mapletron, because he's 6'4", 230, 225. He's a beast.
He's fast too.
He's a big boy. Mm-hmm. And he's Calvin Johnson-esque in terms of size.
Sure.
Now, we'll see what he does in terms of his catching ability.
Sure.
Because if you look at all his touchdowns, 3 of them were short things, and then one of them was a long one, wide open.
Sure.
And he didn't really use his hands. He actually kind of used his body. So we'll see.
He's got to keep putting himself in a position to make plays.
That's it.
And if he does that, he'll be a great part of the Steelers
100%.
offense. Now, Juju Smith-Schuster's got someone else on that side.
It'll
open up one for either one of them. They also
Yes.
still have James Washington.
Yep.
That
Steelers receiving core is actually pretty deep.
Yeah. So if they can keep working, they can. I mean, they're obviously contenders right now.
Agreed.
All right, now we are looking at Cardinals Jets. Pretty par for the course here.
Yep.
The Cardinals
They didn't look
scared
good.
me a little bit in
Yeah.
that game.
Yeah.
They pulled away at the end, but what are the Cardinals? Because in the beginning of the year they were coming, and then these past 3 games, if that wasn't the Jets, they're losing again. So, what do we make of the Cardinals? Are they a wild card team,
Right.
or are they just an imposter? Really?
Yeah, and then now I was asking myself the same question because, like you had said, Andrew, it's again it was discouraging in a sense because that 30 points probably would have been 16 or 17 points against the actual team.
Sure.
It's just the fact that it was the New York Jets. They were able to have their way even when they didn't want to have their way. You know, they were just getting freebies at points. You know, DeAndre Hopkins, 6 for 131, a touchdown on 7 receptions, or 7 total targets, 6 receptions. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's pretty ridiculous. But you gotta also think, seven targets, 6 receptions. Now, at what point is that the defense just giving stuff away?
Right,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
So,
And a lot of that happened. I mean, he had that crazy diving catch in the end zone.
Ridiculous.
That was real nice. Again, but these are all things that they should be dominating consistently through the game, and it didn't feel like that until around the halfway through the third, more in the fourth. They were starting to dominate a little more. They gotta come out faster. This is a team, an offense that should be built on coming out starting fast.
Yep, and they need to figure that out.
And they're not.
Nope.
And against good teams, that's gonna be a problem because Kyler doesn't play well from behind.
No, he does not.
So we'll see what happens. Jets are still sorry, 0-5. Not much to say else there.
Upset this week.
Trevor. This one was nuts.
Whoa.
This one was crazy, dude.
Whoa.
And when we talk about discouraging, Pat Mahomes was kind of discouraging in this game.
Chiefs, Raiders.
Chiefs, Raiders. So I forgot even to tell you what game we're talking about. 40-32. That defense played horrible against this Raiders offense. Raiders offense is good, but like
not that good.
Come on. Awful defensively. Offense should have put up way more than 32 points. Pat Mahomes looked like he was running for his life.
He was.
That offensive line couldn't hold anything.
Nothing.
And it was frustrating because everyone knows Pat Mahomes is one of those guys who's going to make big plays consistently. And he's going to do crazy things. He's going to run out of the pocket and throw it with his left hand 50 yards downfield, and it's going to end up in Tyreek Hill's pocket. Somehow.
In triple coverage.
But you can't do that every single play.
Right, exactly.
And that's what we saw. Every single play, it felt like Pat Mahomes was trying to run around, make magic happen. He ain't Santa Claus. Sorry. He can do it every once in a while, but he's not somebody who's gonna. Nobody is somebody who can do that on a consistent basis.
Now let me ask you this: do you think that Patrick Mahomes is getting to? Because to me, it seems like he's coming into these games with a really big ego. It seems like he has a really fat head, and rightfully so. But what you had said there, what I saw this game was I saw a Patrick Mahomes, like you had said, that was trying to live up to the expectations of what he's done in the past with all those crazy plays instead of just doing the right play. There were too many stupid 3 and outs that they had. There were too many bad decisions. There was too much with too little production.
I'll tell you where they lost this game. And I had a feeling this was it, but I'm going to read it now. Patrick Mahomes had 6 rushes for 21 yards. How many more rushes do you think their starting running back had? How many more than 6?
Probably 4.
4. That's where they lost the game. 10 attempts for 40 yards. That's not okay. You need to. We talk about this all the time. I don't care what your football team is. I don't care if you're the Chiefs. I don't care if you have Tyreek Hill,
Travis Kelce,
Sammy Watkins, and all these people. I don't care. You have a rookie running back who's
a stud,
above average.
Yep.
Stud. and you handed the ball 10 times in a game.
And not to mention, he was getting 4 yards a clip. Listen, you hand the ball off 3 times to him, you're getting a first down every time.
I don't, and this is why he was running for his life. For a second, I was like, well, why is this offensive line not doing so well? Because usually they're a good old line and they protect the quarterback. The Raiders don't really have that many big guys who can rush the ball real well. You ran the ball 10 times. What do you think's going to happen? Your quarterback's going to be running for his life all the time. If you throw one run play in there, Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's got a 25-yard carry.
Yep.
Because everyone on the defense thinks, well, they're passing. Andy Reid, great head coach. I'm sitting on a bar stool in my buddy's apartment talking football. I'm not a head coach. However, you gotta run the football more. Yeah. You gotta run the football more than 10 times with a rookie running back who's great.
And especially because it doesn't make any sense not to.
Right.
Because when you do have an offense that's that prolific, that is able to put up points in a minute and a half, get a touchdown in a minute and a half, or 3 minutes, you shouldn't feel any pressure to not be willing to establish the run.
Right.
You are one of the only teams in the league that can afford to sacrifice drives to establish a run game early.
Sure.
And like I had said, 10 attempts for 40 yards total.
That's
4 yards a clip. You run that ball 3 times, that's 12 yards. That's the first time every single time. Run the ball into the end zone like that.
Anytime you're 4 yards carry or over, you're doing something right.
Yes, that's successful.
Keep running.
Anything over 3 yards is a successful carry.
Raiders just played really well.
And the Raiders
Derek Carr was passing really well. And I think that's where the Raiders went in a positive. They put the pressure on.
They did.
They put the pressure on.
They didn't make it easy.
And you want to know why this Chiefs defense had a hard time? The Raiders established the run.
Yep.
They ran the ball 30 times.
For how many yards?
144.
How many touchdowns?
2.
Exactly.
Their starting running back, Josh Jacobs, 3.3 yards a carry. Not good. It's there though.
It's over 3, so I would take it.
It's over 3.
I would take it.
It's not fantastic. It's not exciting. It's not. You're not running the ball all the time because it's working like nuts. Devontae Booker did have 7 carries for 62 yards. He broke out one. But they ran the ball 30 times. And then the offense, 31 pass attempts. Very split even. Chiefs weren't anywhere close to even.
Nope.
They threw the ball 43 times. And Patrick Mahomes had the same amount of completions as Derek Carr.
That just goes to
Run
show
ball
you.
football.
That just goes to show you how important it is. You gotta establish a balance. And you saw with a lot of teams, the Colts. You saw with the Patriots back in the late 2000s. They became very pass-heavy teams, and what happened? Put pressure up the middle, get pressure on the outside. Yeah, because you know that 80% of the snaps are going to be pass plays. The Chiefs are falling into that same sort of dynamic, and it's going to bite them in the ass.
For sure.
They have to figure that out quick.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
And what's funny is, we're gonna get to this, but the Ravens, the exact opposite.
Yep.
They run the ball too much and they don't pass. They're no threat in the air.
Yep.
it's
We'll get there.
Dynamics, man. It's funny.
Let's hop to Jaguars Texans. This was it was a tight game pretty much throughout. Texans
got a garbage touchdown.
Got a
close to the end.
Yeah.
There. Yep.
I don't really have anything else really to say about this game. The Texans played better with Romeo Crennel.
Yep. Romeo, my dog, oldest starting head coach of all time.
I was just about to say that.
Starting.
Yep.
Oldest head coach in NFL history.
Yep.
73. Oh my gosh. 78.
Oh, was it 73? It might have been 73.
One of those two. I think it might be 73, but it's 70s, which is still crazy.
We'll fact check ourselves and put it in the comments below.
Yeah, that's still fairly old.
But 30-14. I mean, I was expecting the Jaguars to win. The offense played well. Offense played actually really well. But they only put up 14 points, couldn't get in the end zone. But Gardner Minshew, 31 for 49, 301 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's you show me that stat line, I'll think your team won.
Yeah, agreed.
But at the end of the day,
Deshaun
Watson just kind of did what he did.
You know, my biggest take were 2 things. Pleasantly surprised, not only because I picked the Texans to win on hope and a prayer, but I was pleasantly surprised because Deshaun Watson did exactly what I expected him to. He made a bad mistake, and then made it better with two good ones. You know, he made a bad mistake and made it better with two good decisions, right?
Sure.
That's been Deshaun Watson's MO ever since he got into the league. He'll make a bad mistake, but you can count on him to make a big play. 25 for 35, 360 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
2 bad interceptions, by the way. But he made up for it when it counted.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I'll always like Houston. As long as they have Deshaun Watson, I'll always like them.
I hope, for Gardner Minshew's sake, I hope that the Jaguars aren't in a position to take Trevor, because Gardner's fighting for that position.
He is.
And he's earned it. He's earned that position. He's playing well week in and week out, and he's doing a really nice job. His defense needs to help him out some more, and his other players on offense need to stop fumbling the ball.
Yeah, that's it.
That was the problem.
Too many turnovers for the
Texans
Jaguars.
got their first turnover of the season in this game, which, I mean, if you're going to do it, it's going to be against the Jaguars.
Yep.
But
Or the Jets. Or
Right.
the Giants.
the Jags, their receiving core is good. Their receiving core is actually pretty good. If that defense could step up more and the running game could show up a little more, they don't have a running back that has a name. So it stinks because the Jaguars are better. I never thought I'd say it. They're better than the record says. To me, at least, they're not a 1-4 team. I think they're more of a 500 team, in my eyes, because I mean, talent-wise, maybe not, but the way they've been playing, it's upsetting to me.
I would say yes and no. I understand where you're coming from in terms of the way that they played in moments would justify them being
Sure.
a 500 team, but
Consistency.
the other consistency, right? And then the other times where they've just made terrible decisions, to me, you don't deserve to win.
Sure.
You know, when you turn the ball over, when you fumble that many
No,
times.
of course.
You know, and to me, fumbling, the mistakes that they make, to me, that's a decision from the coach that's not important, right? That's not
Sure.
something you want to focus on. And if that's the case, then you are going to lose football games.
Sure.
You know, and so I'm with you on that, but at the same time,
I understand.
I'm kind of in the sense of, you know, you reap what you sow when it comes to your record in the NFL.
For sure. Let's head over to Ravens Bengals.
Yep.
Ravens continue to beat bad teams. I'm not really that surprised.
Yeah, not much going on here. Joe
really
Burrow got. Listen, I'm gonna only say this one
The
thing.
Ravens defense just owned him.
Can we just sit Joe Burrow for the rest of the season and let him get an offensive line? Because that dude is not going to make it the whole season. He
At this rate,
got killed all game. Killed. I saw him take some hits. I was like, dude, just stay down. Don't get up anymore. I feel bad for that guy. You want to talk about running for your life. There's no way for him to even run. He's just getting killed every single play. I feel so bad for him. And one of my other biggest takeaways, like we had a preference earlier, the Ravens. The exact opposite of the Chiefs. An extremely run-heavy offense, and they cannot establish a pass game. So now what does the defense do? You put 8 in the box.
I mean, defense scored two touchdowns? Or one?
One.
One?
When you put 8 people in the box and you just challenge them, all right, I dare you to throw, you're not going to.
Right.
You're not going to run on us either, so now what? And, you know, it's because I think the Ravens should have hung more than 27 points.
Yeah, so, Lamar put up 2 touchdowns, Justin Tucker scored 2 field goals, and defense scored a touchdown. So, I mean, I guess you don't really need much more than that, but at the end of the day, like, 27-3, it's hard to complain about a win like that against any NFL team. Defense played lights out, but if you really think about it, the offense really only scored 14 points. That's not good.
Exactly.
And maybe they were just playing to get the win, which is, I guess that's fair if that's what you're doing.
Sure.
You run the clock to get that time of possession. Time of possession is a stat too.
Yep.
So not much really else to say about the Ravens. I mean, when they keep beating bad teams, I got nothing really to say.
Yep, and that's keep it simple on that one. Yeah.
Panthers Falcons. Kept talking about it.
And it finally came to be, huh?
Gone.
And the GM as well.
Yep.
Which, you want to know what? This is going to be so funny that I'm going to say this, but I'm not sure that Dan Quinn's a problem. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because to me, if you have talent, right? You have a talented roster. Which, I mean, their defense, that is not. But their offense is. And you're 0-5. There's something. And I think it's coaching. I do personally.
I'm not saying it's not, but I'm just
sure.
saying I'm not exactly sure.
You don't know if it'll solve it.
Right, because the thing with me is that, if you watch them play from initial snap to ending snap, it seems like there's other things going on outside of something that coaching can fix.
Sure.
Like we're here with Xavier Rhodes of the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, you can expect me to actually try for every single snap. Coaching can't solve that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a person making a decision that I'm just not going to go for it this play.
Sure.
And you see that maybe at a higher clip, especially from the defense, than you would maybe other teams. And I don't think coaching, that you can't fix that coaching wise. That's a player's decision to either play or not to play hard.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, if you're a coach and you see that kind of attitude in your locker room, you shut it down.
Sure.
That player's sitting today. Saints had no problem sitting Michael Thomas when he was being
socked his team in the face.
A stooge in practice.
Yeah.
So if you can take control of your locker room and say, I don't care. I don't care what you think you're gonna do. I don't care what you think you want to do. You're getting a paycheck at the end of the day. You're gonna do what I tell you to do.
Agreed. And that's why I'm on board with you there, Andrew, because that is true. Coaching, you set the standard, set the bar high, and it seems as though possibly Dan Quinn did not set the standard very high.
No.
He'll let too much stuff get away from him, and then when he tries to pull the reins back in, it's too late. That's a beast on its own. So, Panthers, good on the Panthers though.
Absolutely, Panthers are in that wild card hunt.
My dog Bridgewater came out and balled, man.
Yeah, they are absolutely, and it's weird because part of me thinks like, okay, they're without Christian McCaffrey. When he comes back, it can be better. But they were 0-2 with him. They're 3-0 without him. So maybe it's that over-reliance on Christian McCaffrey that was hitting them in the beginning of the year.
Maybe.
Now they figure out they need to diversify, run the ball a little bit, pass the ball a little bit, do a little bit of everything instead of focusing on one guy.
And you want to know what I think a big solution is for the Carolina Panthers? Teddy Bridgewater took him running out of the game plan.
Mm-hmm.
They said, Teddy, we don't want you to run anymore. I think that really freed him up and kept things simple for him. Because we talk about simplicity.
Sure.
I think he was a dual threat quarterback, but he wasn't very efficient running the ball and he would get himself into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Now that he took away that run from himself and he said, listen, if I'm getting sacked, I'm just going to go down.
So,
he only had one run for 3 yards.
It's good.
It's good. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Pass the ball. What is it? He had 2 touchdowns, 27 for 37, 313 yards, and 2 touchdowns. No interceptions. That's a perfect game, Teddy.
That's a Teddy Bridgewater game.
That's a perfect game, Teddy. And then 27 rushes for 124 yards between the whole running crew. That's a perfect game, Teddy.
Attack.
That's gonna win you football games. Just do that.
If the Panthers
Just do that.
If the Panthers can keep that up, they will find themselves at the end of the year looking at a 10-6.
Yep.
And they will be that wild card team in the NFC, which was originally, when we looked at it, very, 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 very competitive. But now it's looking like, you got your big players. You have the Packers. You have the Seahawks. You have the what the heck? You have the Packers. You have the Seahawks. You have the Rams, right? And those are really your big players in the NFC. Nobody else is really untouchable at this point.
Nope.
The Bears are not untouchable. The Bucs are not untouchable. The Saints are not untouchable. All these teams are very beatable. And the Panthers are a team that can beat pretty much any team other than, I would say, those top 3.
Agreed.
So, I mean, watch out for the Panthers.
Agreed.
Look out.
Yeah. Yep.
Another upset. And boy,
I picked the Dolphins, baby.
You did?
I did. So I picked the Dolphins because we were going as though Jimmy wasn't going to play.
But
So I said I'm picking Dolphins. So I just figured I'd keep it.
Yeah,
Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So yeah, I picked the Dolphins.
Jimmy might as well not play it.
He honestly just
And
played.
he didn't half the game.
He played for the other team. Honestly, he played for the Dolphins that game.
That was a
Terrible.
And this is one of those games where it's like, okay, do we throw this one out? for the Niners? Do we just say, Jimmy's first game back after a bit, throw it away, they'll come back next week and they'll look like their normal Niners? Or is this kind of football what we can expect from them week in, week out?
You want to know what? Unfortunately, I think, of course, injuries are playing a huge part in this whole scenario right now.
But
we got to take it. We got to take it off face value. And right now, I think this might be who the 49ers are.
Okay.
And I'm not saying this bad, but
sure.
I don't necessarily see them being very competitive. If they stay this decimated by injuries, you can't keep up. You just can't keep up because it's a numbers game in the NFL. If the number ones are playing against second stringers, there is a difference there in talent, and it's gonna catch up. And even with the Dolphins, who I would say are not the most talented team, they're coming up, but they're not the most talented of teams. And you saw what happened. It just looked like there was a skill difference there.
If you look at the Niners' 2 wins, who do they come against?
Terrible teams.
Jets and Giants.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
I would be frustrated as a Niners fan because the Dolphins are not a great team either. And let me pause for a second. Every time we doubt Ryan Fitzpatrick and say put in Tua, man, 43 points up. And I don't care what NFL team you are, unless you're the Jets or Giants, putting up 43 points is kind of hard.
He went 22 for 28.
Yeah, it's just
350 yards, 3 touchdowns.
That's crazy.
They had 94 yards running the ball total, and they put up 43 points.
He pretty much carried it.
Now, did Jimmy Garoppolo throw a pick six? No, they had a fumble in his fumble for a touchdown. Because I was about to say that doesn't add up to all the.
Yeah, the Niners. Part of me wants to say they're an 8-18, but the other part of me is also keeps thinking about who are the 2 teams that they beat? Jets and the Giants. That makes, and if you lose to every other team, that makes you the 3rd worst team in the league.
Yeah.
And do I think they're the 3rd worst team in the league? No, I don't think so. But they need to get back on the horse.
Yep.
If this was not a wake-up call, there will never be one this year for them.
Yikes.
So if they don't come out next week firing on all cylinders, say goodbye.
Agreed.
Let's talk over Giants, Cowboys.
First off, T's and P's to Dak Prescott.
Yes.
You're going to come back strong. You're going to come back better than ever. But, damn.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Whoa.
That was, and I said it earlier, that was a moment where even as someone just spectating, it hit me kind of hard because and I think both of us kind of know what this feels like, kind of having a lot taken away from you. We're going to get a little bit outside of football here. But,
it's all good.
And not to mention what he's already struggled with what he's come out about with his depression and anxiety and all that kind of stuff. I'm praying that he doesn't fall into that hole and that his support system is good. It seemed like he was in good spirits after his surgery. So I hope he comes back and comes back better than ever, and I hope he comes back a Dallas Cowboy.
You wanna know what? I think if anybody could deal with it, he's the guy.
Sure.
And it definitely is tough, when you define yourself through something and it gets partially removed from your life in certain aspects. It's definitely tricky, but I think the thing with this is that if he can get through what he's been through already, this is gonna be a walk in the park for him. Yeah. Because this is something that you can see, you can feel, you can attack on a daily basis, the mental stuff, nobody can help you with that. That really is a battle between you and you. And if he can get through something like that, the physical stuff, he's gonna be all right. Yeah. He's gonna be okay.
But outside of that, this game was a lot closer than it should have been while he was in. Giants, I don't know where they came from.
Got quickly there,
but they
17-3 at one point.
They showed up pretty heavily. Yeah. Dak started putting up points. Obviously, the injury happened, and we were calling the best backup quarterback in the NFL, Andy Dalton.
Yep.
Comes in and gets the Cowboys their win.
I'll say it. And this is the epitome of the Dallas Cowboys. That last drive to set them up in field goal range when this isn't the right team. When Andy Dalton threw to, who was it? Michael Gallup on the right sideline, and he had that ridiculous catch. Dog, that was so pretty.
Yeah, for sure.
That was so, and that was PI, by the way.
Yeah,
He got tackled as he jumped up. That's why it looked so weird when he came down. He was getting yanked down by that guy. It's like, how's it not PI? But
part of the ref was probably like, he caught him.
You're right, honestly. But Cowboys need to figure out a way to assert themselves early.
Yep.
That's the one thing I'm seeing with them. They're too wishy-washy. They're too, let's go with the flow of the game. And then by the time they figure out what the flow of the game is, they're like, we're down 22 points, or we're down 17 points, and now it's damn near an insurmountable task. You can't keep doing that and expect to survive in a league like this. The teams are too good.
This was one of the first games that I did see them hand the ball off a little more. Zeke had 19 carries, 91 yards, 4.8 yards a carry. Again, get him the ball more. Especially now that you have a backup quarterback in who has not taken reps. He's got to get the flow of the game. You've got to get him the ball more and more and more. I want to see Zeke get 25 carries a game. I know you're paying him a lot of money. You don't want to see him get hurt.
Listen, if you're paying him a lot of money, ride that horse, bro.
Right, exactly. You got to get your money's worth.
Yeah. I mean, he's good too.
I'm not concerned about Andy Dalton.
No, I'm not.
Not even a little bit.
Nope.
He's a good football player. When he's had good teams around him, he's succeeded very well.
Yeah.
He's a winning quarterback. His record shows he's got like 80 wins, 60 losses, 2 ties. How do you get 2 ties? Whatever. I'll blame Marvin Lewis for that one.
Yeah.
But Andy Dalton will not be the problem of this team if they start losing.
Nope.
It's that defense and the play calling on offense.
Yep.
Giants are sorry, but they didn't play sorry.
They showed some heart, man.
They did.
They showed a little bit of heart.
They did. Clearly wasn't enough. 0-5. One of 3 teams that are 0-5 right now.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
Colts Browns. This one was awesome.
Good game.
Go Browns.
Good game.
The Browns are for real.
All right, easy.
I think the Browns.
Relax.
I think the AFC North. Hold on. I think the AFC North gets 3 playoff teams. I think the Browns, Steelers, Ravens are 3 of them. I think that's what you see happen.
That seems to be the trend right now.
The Browns are now, because we saw them beat bad teams, right? And we came into this week, we're like, all right, well, here's your test.
I already know what you're gonna say.
Can you beat the Colts?
The Colts aren't that good though.
But their defense is.
Their defense wasn't that good either.
They didn't play well because the Browns were. If you think the Colts run defense is the big thing that everyone was talking so great about.
Yep.
That Colts run defense. That's Colts run defense. Blah 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 blah. 124 yards. That's not good for a good run defense.
No.
Kareem Hunt had 20 carries for 72 yards, 3.6 yards a carry. Not fantastic. Ernest Johnson ran 8 times, 32 yards, 4 yards a carry. Baker ran twice for 17 yards. The yards per carry was there. Like, you did well, but the Browns just outplayed the Colts. And Baker was even 2 for 2, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So, like, the Colts offense was really dragging down that team, but also the Browns were on it. I think the Browns were on it. Baker can limit his turnovers. I think the Browns are for real.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think the thing that really won Cleveland that game is the TOP, time of possession.
Sure.
Cleveland Browns possessed the ball for 34 minutes and 45 seconds. Indianapolis possessed the ball for 25 minutes and 15 seconds. That makes a difference.
Sure.
That makes a big difference, especially like you had said.
10-minute difference.
If you're establishing the run game, you're going to get tired. And keep in mind, too, there was 2 interceptions apiece yesterday, yesterday on Sunday.
Sure.
So now the defense is coming out on a short rest after just giving up either a big drive or standing on the field for a long time. That defense was tired. And so I really think the defense suffered because the offense was so sorry.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers is garbage. I'm sorry. He's done. I'm so off that train. I was never on it. Neither of us were.
I've been off it too.
But he is so bad. He just can't play.
He's not, and I don't know why people think that he's this kind of quarterback, and he's never been this kind of quarterback.
Like saying he's like a stone cold killer or something.
He's not. He's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback.
And that's it.
He's not going to carry a football team.
No. And then,
Never has.
And they're looking for him to do that.
Every team that he's had has had talent across the board. Remember when he had Damian Tomlinson and Antonio Gates? Mm-hmm. That team was good. But that's because he had help and he had support. He had a good O-line. He had good defense. Like those are the Chargers teams that were making AFC Championship games.
Yep.
But now you're on the Colts. You got a young running back, fine. Offensive line is good. Receivers are good. And you're playing like trash. And your defense is good. So like what's happening here,
Exactly.
Phil? If he doesn't retire after this year, I'd be very surprised.
I would be too.
So, I mean, Browns are for real. Colts, I mean, they're going to keep winning games, and they might even make a fight for a wild card spot, that very last spot, because I think the AFC North is going to take 2 of them. There'll be 1 more. Then maybe they fight for that one. They're going to be fighting the Raiders for it. They're going to be fighting the Chargers, maybe not the Chargers, but they're going to be fighting the Raiders for it. They're going to be fighting a few other teams for it. And that's pretty much it, just the Raiders. Yeah, the AFC's not.
It's trash.
Yeah, it's pretty trash.
It's not good.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the Patriots will fight the Patriots for it. Because the Bills probably gonna win that division. Personal opinion. But I just don't see it. They're not a team. They're not a sound football team.
No, they don't. Not one game have they played yet where I thought, yeah, that team is dangerous. No. Not at all.
Even when they were beating the Vikings by crap ton.
Still,
I was like,
nope.
Speaking of the Vikings, the top over Vikings Seahawks. That was way too close.
What a game!
This is the first game the Seahawks did not score over 30 points. The Vikings defense finally played like the Vikings defense. Mm-hmm. Just wasn't enough.
And I also think that Russell Wilson, I think that one interception that he threw, I think that really gave the Vikings a lot of heart and gave them a lot of momentum there.
Sure.
And I think that really hurt them, and it really slowed them down. Because if you were watching the flow of the game, they were moving, they were grooving, they were pushing the ball down the field, everything was cold and steady. He throws that bad interception on the right sideline, and then it seemed like the whole game switched. Mm-hmm. The Vikings started pounding the football, started running the football, just putting it down their throat. They just could not stop that.
Dalvin Cook did get hurt.
Yes. He was on the sideline, so that made me okay.
He was, from reports, I believe he is most likely out this next week,
okay.
Which is going to be a big blow to the Vikings. Not that they really were putting up much fight against anybody anyway,
right? Other
than the Seahawks.
You want to know who's for real? DK Metcalf.
If he's not playing with the best receiver in the league right now, I don't know who is.
That dude he's just dumb. He's one of those dudes.
You want to talk about Calvin Johnson lookalike?
Yeah. You can't cover that kid.
He's bigger though.
You can't cover that kid. And faster, by the way.
Right.
He runs a legit 4.3.
He's an absolute freak. If he can,
it's so stupid.
If he can stay healthy, because we've seen guys like that before. We've seen guys who, Josh Gordon was a big guy,
right.
Jumped high, ran fast, made plays. Same type of talent. If he can last, he will.
What?
He will take over this league.
Oh yeah.
But it's a matter of that lasting.
Exactly.
And he's shown no reason to not believe that
right.
at this point.
He doesn't take any dumb hits. He gets down. He gets out of bounds.
But he does make dumb plays with the ball, which was unfortunate a few weeks ago. He has limited that, which is good. He does not drop the football. He's a good football player. Seahawks probably the top 2 team in the league.
Agreed.
Up there with the Packers, I believe.
Yeah, those are 1 and 2 for sure. That was really it for me.
Yeah.
Really nice drive there at the end of the game.
Yep.
Exactly what I expected Russell Wilson to do. Exactly how I expected at the end. I knew DK was going to get that ball no matter what. Lockett was quiet that game. DK was he was backpacking that receiving core.
When the ball is in Russ's hands on the last drive,
you're feeling good.
You gotta feel good.
Yep, you're feeling good.
Chargers Saints.
Oh, Herb.
What did we say?
Herb.
What did we say last week? We said
verbatim. We might regret this.
We might regret this on Monday. So, come on!
Yep.
Justin Herbert's playing so well. Play calling was a little off towards the end of the game there.
Yeah, it was.
Weren't aggressive enough. And this is a theme with
You want to know
this
what's
year.
funny? I actually thought that they became aggressive on that last drive. I actually like that last drive.
On a last drive,
Right.
though. You gotta keep it consistent. You gotta run the ball because they were missing their starting running back, which is a shame. That's unfortunate. If they had Austin Eckler, you have to assume they'd probably win this game.
Yeah.
But he was not there, so you have to play to your strengths. Justin Herbert played super well.
Michael Williams.
I
think he was damn good.
He is.
Damn.
Keenan Allen was out most of the game, I believe, with an injury.
Yeah, he was
And then
out.
Justin Herbert put himself in good company with Cam Newton, Andrew Luck, himself, obviously, and somebody else, but he is, Patrick Mahomes.
That's right.
With passing yards in first 4 games of your career. He's smack in the middle. He's above Patrick Mahomes. He's under Andrew Luck and Cam Newton. That's good company.
Very much
That's
so.
very good company.
Yep.
And that's a good trajectory to be on as a quarterback.
4 touchdowns.
He's probably the best quarterback right now to not have a win yet.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you got? Sam Darnold
Nick.
slash Joe Flacco, Daniel Jones,
Nope.
Matt Ryan. I think Justin Herbert is better than Matt Ryan right now, and Matt Ryan's doing pretty damn good.
Yeah, he is.
As a quarterback, at least. I mean, his team's
Right.
not, but Saints won, but they won ugly, and I have no confidence.
I don't either. And you know what really shocked me? And this is one of the first times I can remember where I really kind of saw this and was able to recognize it sort of in the flesh. Drew Brees is declining right in front of our eyes. You can see it.
Frantic almost.
You can see it. He's not the same. That arm doesn't have as much pop to it anymore.
Yep.
Like you had said, he is frantic. His decision making seems a little bit wrong. It just doesn't seem Drew Brees-esque in the sense of he's sporadic in terms of what he's trying to accomplish, and you can see it in the flesh, and it's very uncomfortable.
I was listening to the game last night. I believe it was just before the half, and this is where Drew Brees is not excelling right now. He used to a lot, not excelling at all. Brian Greasy, shout outs to Brian Greasy, my man.
Favorite player, huh?
Oh, and I got his jersey, man. It's all torn up and stuff. He's a Broncos fan. I'll tell that story one day. Not today, but Drew Brees, he was doing this thing where he likes to call out plays, the line, and he takes his sweet time doing it. I don't know why. It's just get in the huddle and call a play then.
Mm-hmm.
Call his play. Throws it. Catches to the guy, but it's short, doesn't give his guy any place to run, and goes down, clock's running still, and Brian Greasy goes, come on, you gotta put it out in front of your receiver, let him get some rack. What? He's missing that.
Mm-hmm.
He's missing that ability to call plays at the line and make the play.
Yeah.
Unless he hits Alvin Kamara on an ankle, which he did, and then they ended up getting a touchdown on the drive at the end. But you can thank Alvin Kamara for it, not Drew Brees.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
And Emmanuel Sanders, he was doing pretty well on that one too.
He had 12 or 13 receptions last night.
He's a good football player. Everyone thinks Emmanuel Sanders, he's so old.
That dude is busy.
He's playing well.
12 receptions, 122 yards, and 14 targets. That's
He's
nasty.
He's crazy. And that's obviously due to Michael Thomas being out.
Yep.
But maybe when Michael Thomas gets back, you'll see this offense get up and running again. But Saints don't excite me. They will make the playoffs. It's going to be weird to see who of the Bucs and the Saints will win that division.
Bucs. They have a better defense.
And we'll see what happens when they play again, because the Saints won the first one. We'll see what happens the second time.
Yeah.
That division went from, oh my gosh, 2 best teams in the conference to...
Oh gosh.
Oh, good.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Interesting how that works, huh?
Yeah. Patriots, Broncos, Packers, Lions all had a bye. Patriots and Broncos had a bye because the game got canceled.
Yep.
They will play again this week.
Yep.
Again, they are scheduled to play this week again. I believe it's on Sunday.
Yep.
Is it on Sunday or Monday?
Monday.
I think it's a Monday game now. Yep. So I'm excited to be able to watch that one.
That'll be good. Cam Newton should be back for that.
Cam Newton should be back for that. He should be healthy from COVID.
Packers at Tampa Bay. That's going to be a freaking good game.
Yeah.
I like the looks of that.
And we'll talk about all of those games in the video coming Thursday.
Yep.
But let's talk quickly about the Bills Titans. That is happening today.
That's right.
Tuesday.
Yep.
By the time this video goes out, the game will either be started or will be just about.
Probably halfway, I would say.
About halfway.
Yeah. Yep.
We're still both picking Bills.
Yes.
Bills. Titans on a short week. Not a short week, but like they.
A sporadic week.
Sporadic week.
Very.
Right. They have not been able to do what they wanted to do. The Bills were ready. Bills will be ready.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go there.
Yeah. So quickly, let's a couple superlatives real quick.
Sure.
Surprise winner of the week.
I mean, there's some obvious picks.
I know where I'm going. I'm going Raiders. All day.
Okay.
All day. I was not expecting that, and especially the way they did it, where they really kind of sunned them.
Sure.
They sunned the Chiefs that day, and that was impressive. I like that. So.
I'm gonna go Bears.
Nice.
I was not expecting the Bears to beat the Bucs.
Mm-hmm. What about the Dolphins?
Maybe the way they did. I'm not surprised the Dolphins won. I'm surprised the Dolphins won the way they won.
Yeah.
Right. If it was a close game and the Dolphins won, I'd be like, yeah, okay. But like, I mean, the way they won, that was nuts. But I'm going Bears on that. I think the defense showed up in a way that I don't think they would.
Now let's go. First place winner for the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. Who do you got?
Gosh. I'm gonna change it up a little bit. Obviously, I think it's the Jets. But
I'm gonna say the Falcons.
I think your sleeper might be the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm saying Falcons too.
I think sleeper for that might be the Falcons because part of me wants to say like, oh, the Falcons will get their win. Don't worry.
And you're starting to hear rumblings. You're starting to hear rumblings about them wanting to get rid of Matt Ryan.
They should probably look at, if they're thinking Trevor, they should probably think about trading Matt Ryan before the trade deadline.
Oh my goodness.
That would be blockbuster.
I'll tell you what, Trevor Lawrence would look great in a Falcons uniform. Oh, no.
Boy! Don't get me excited.
Whoa.
I think if you ship Matt Ryan to somebody, let him be a backup.
Mm-hmm.
Let him be, since Danny Dalton's starting now, let him be the best backup in the NFL. I'd like to see him mentor Drew Lock with Denver.
Nice.
Or sit behind somebody who's a little injury prone, maybe send him to Pittsburgh, maybe even Washington. Washington could very easily get Trevor as well if the Jets/Falcons get a dub at some point.
Which is
as well as the Giants.
Sure.
So I would love to see Falcons. I'd love to see Trevor go to the Falcons. Also, wouldn't be too bad for him to go to the Washington football team. I think that would be a good reset for that franchise. Because the defense has pieces, they just need to grow. And the offense also has some pieces, but they just need to build.
I just feel bad for really good players going to really crappy organizations.
Sure.
That sucks. Like, even if the team sucks, we go to a really good organization and a franchise. You can work with that, but going to a team that's trash and an organization and a franchise that sucks, like that's just awful.
And the Falcons are very clearly going to a rebuild mode.
Yeah.
They obviously got rid of their GM.
Listen, you got a brand new stadium, you got a great owner.
And the owner takes no nonsense.
Exactly.
Obviously, because that GM and head coach took that team to a Super Bowl. And the owner said, you know what? I ain't dealing with it no more.
Nope.
You can't go 0-5 in my organization.
And last one. MVP of the week. Who are you picking? One person. MVP of the week.
Aaron Donald.
I was going to say, I swear to you. I was going to say the same thing. I swear to you. So I was just about to say, I'm going to pick somebody that you won't expect. And I was going to say Aaron Donald.
You can't get...
you can go Aaron Donald. That's fine. I'll get a different one.
You can't get 4 sacks.
That's what I'm saying.
I think that's crazy.
Yep.
I have a backup MVP in my head, and I know exactly.
You stay with that one. I'll go with I'm going with DK Metcalf.
Okay.
I'm going with DK Metcalf because that game he had a sleeper game.
Sure.
But he made all of the big plays.
Yeah.
Every play where you need it.
Right.
It was
made
DK.
it when you needed it.
Every play you need it. You're like that's gonna make or break the game. Who's the guy? It was DK every time. I need that. I need somebody like that.
My second pick was gonna be Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Nice.
Absolute monster.
He went off.
Also, MVP Arthur Blank for firing Dan Quinn.
Hey, agreed. But okay. Alrighty, y'all. So that is going to be the end of Tuesday's episode of the Sit Down Sports Edition with my man Andrew. As you see, we just went over what happened in Week 5. Check back in on Thursday to see our Week 6 picks and also to check in to see who won the Week 5 in terms of our wins and loss predictions. But until then, stay tuned and we'll see y'all on Thursday. Until then, later.